Our question number 11 is by the Hungarian Hooligan on YouTube. And the Hungarian Hooligan wants to know, might you make a The Longest Way 2? I'm referring to another beard progression video. The first one is still the best thing I've ever seen on YouTube. Thanks, man. Kirsten, I appreciate you saying that. I like hearing it, but I don't think it's true. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you just haven't seen the best video on YouTube yet. In my opinion, my video isn't bad. It's a good video, The Longest Way. The best video so far is Where the Hell is Matt 2008. Go watch that one. It is amazing. Every single time I watch that video, tears. Such a good video. I hope I can make a video that's going to be better than that one. We'll see. Anyway, the question here, am I going to make a new The Longest Way? No. And yes. So it's a difficult question. It's a question that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. I have this urge to talk about it with everyone that I ever see anywhere, because not much else is on my mind, because I'm just working on this one thing and I've been working on it for months and months. But also I'm super self-conscious because I'm thinking, what if it fails? What if nobody's interested in it? I'm anxious because of that reason. And I don't want to jinx anything. And I also don't want to make huge statements. I'm not Elon Musk. I'm not going to tell you like, oh, this is the best thing on the planet, or like Trump or any of those fuckers. I'm kind of, I guess, just a normal guy, you know, someone who's like, oh, I might have a good idea. And I'm kind of in the back of my mind, I'm kind of hoping that it will be successful, but what do I know? So I want to talk about it. I want to answer the question. It's going to be a long answer. It might even become a rambling and shitty answer. And because I had to work up a little bit of courage, I wanted to ask you guys if it's okay if I have pickles on the side. And also, I don't know, do you guys remember my vodka tasting videos from Budapest when I was with a hernia? I decided to revive the whole vodka tasting thing. I bought this German vodka sound, and I decided to have shots, which means that this video I can only take one take. I already took one take actually. I had 2 shots and I fucked up the video because I don't know. At some point I didn't know what to say anymore. So this is the second take and this is gonna be it. It's going to be long and rambling and boring. That's what she said. But yeah, here we are. So cheers to you guys. Cheers to whoever and at what time landed on my channel and decided to click on this video. Here's to you. Welcome. Goes down easily. Doesn't fight the vodka. Aftertaste, kind of boring. Gotta be honest. Pickle. All right. So, this is gonna be annoying. The chewing sounds, I'm sorry. Why am I saying welcome to whoever, I don't know, clicks on this video in the future? Maybe in 2030 or something. Because I'm hoping that my new video is going to be successful. Like, very successful. That it's going to become the self-driving Tesla on Mars. And I hope that people kind of click on it and then get interested in, you know, who they just saw in this video. Click on the channel, find out most of it is, you know, what it is. And then maybe land on this one, because this one talks about that video that basically is making off while I'm making it. And so, yeah, welcome to you guys. Why am I saying I'm not going to make a new The Longest Way? Because I think the name is done. I don't want to put the new video into a series of older videos. The first video that I made was called The Longest Way. It was a weird beard time-lapse progression, whatever you want to call it, from Beijing to Urumqi, and it's still in China, just 1 year of walking. And I think it's a good video. But then I made a bunch of other videos, and I even called some of them The Longest Way 2, The Longest Way 3. I made an animated version of The Longest Way. And the new video that I want to make, I want it to stand on its own. I want it to be that powerful, if I'm going to be honest. I hope that vodka is going to help me get more uninhibited, I guess, in talking about like these ideas. So I sound more like Trump, you know, this is the best thing. I want it to stand on its own. I want it to be connected to The Longest Way. So I'm probably going to put The Longest Way in the subtitle, but the title should stand on its own and the video should stand on its own. I think from my perspective, where I'm looking at the video now, it should be in a different league, like a different level of video. Where do I start? I start with another shot, right? That's what I'm going to do. Another shot of vodka sound. What is this to? To editing. I'm going to tell you how many pictures. To editing. Hungarian hooligan. The good part of the answer is yes, there will be a new video. The bad part is not going to be The Longest Way 2. I thought of a title. I've been thinking about it for months, just taking little notes on my phone, you know, sending it back and forth with friends just to kind of get some feedback. And I've landed on a title like 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to tell you the title because I'm too self-conscious and I don't want to jinx it and I don't want anybody else to use the title because it's my title. And so that's a secret that I have, but I have a title. And the video, okay. Where do I start? If we're going to make this one long and shitty, might as well make it really long and really shitty. Back in 2007, when I started walking from Beijing, I had a camera, a DSLR camera. I think it was a 20D or something like that with a wide angle lens. And I had the plan to make a time lapse of my face starting from Beijing and going all the way to Germany. I thought it was going to go in one go. That didn't happen, obviously. But I shaved my hair and my beard before I started walking. And then I took one picture a day. After like 2 or 3 months, maybe 4, I understood that one picture a day was really a terrible way to do this, because if you don't want to just show the progression of your face, but you actually want to show the progression of what is happening in the background, which is much more interesting than a face, then you need more shots. Otherwise, it's going to change too abruptly, too quickly. People can never catch what is happening in the background if it's just one frame. Because in a typical video, it's going to be about 20 frames each second. And if each scenario, each place where you took a selfie, a self-portrait, is just going to be there for 1/25th of a second, that's not much time. Oh, I forgot to have a pickle. These are so good. Might as well. So after a few months, I understood that I had to take more pictures. I had to take sequences of pictures, like little films, if you will. Like I would just stand there and maybe a truck is passing in the background or something else is happening. I would hold the camera at a certain, like my arm's length, basically, and just keep pressing the shutter. And that way there would be a sequence for day, I don't know, 80, a sequence for day 81, a sequence for a day 83. And if you watch the video again, you can see that after maybe, I don't know, 1/10 of the video, it actually gets much better, because then there starts to be these sequences of me being in places where you can actually see where I'm going and what I'm doing. It's already getting different. It's already getting difficult to make this little AMA video, but I can't go back because I'm already drinking. This is such a stupid idea. Again. Anyway, I'm going to try to get us through this video, no matter the cost. So I made the whole video, but if you go back and you watch that video, you can see that I didn't really have any idea of how to keep a focal distance. Because if you take your camera and you hold it at arm's length and you use an autofocus, the camera doesn't really know what it's supposed to focus on. Is it supposed to focus on your eyes, which would be really good? Is it supposed to focus on your nose? Like my nose is pretty long, you know? So if you put the focal point on the tip of the nose, it's going to be different. Your eyes are going to be a little bit blurred. If the camera decides to put the focal point on something interesting in the background, that's good for the background, but that's bad for your video because you need to have the focus point on the eyes. So I didn't know that back then. I also didn't know how to plan the shots. I would just kind of see something, then stand there in front of it, no matter what the light. Basically, like, okay, the sun is kind of, you know, in front of me. So my face is getting some light, and I would go press. And sometimes you can see the shadow of the camera on my face. Basically, the whole thing looks hideous. And then I would do post-processing. I would put it through some photo editing software. On that too, I did a terrible job. I would not even consciously try to harmonize the white balance, because, you know, every photo is taken under different light circumstances. Maybe sometimes it's full noon, maybe sometimes it's more like evening light, you know, golden hour, blue hour, and then the whole picture changes. But I would just kind of go like, okay, it's fine, you know, put some light here and there, ramp up the contrast or the colors, and then just dump it out and put it in the video. I didn't even think of how to edit those pictures. I also didn't think much about stabilizing. Back then, I used a photo editing software and to be honest, I'm still doing the same thing, to take every individual shot, every single one of them. I had 1,400 shots back then. And I took every single one of those 1,400 shots, and I took one reference picture. That would be the first picture. And I made sure, or I tried to make sure, that by taking the new picture, every single one that I wanted to edit, and setting the opacity to 50% or the transparency to 50%, I would then overlay it and make sure that the eyes are basically the irises are exactly in the same position. You would kind of twist the picture, maybe enlarge it, maybe make it smaller, and then try to make it so the eyes are in the same position. Everything else can change, but the eyes, they should never change. You need the eyes to be a calm point in the video where somebody who's watching it can kind of relax, because they can be sure that there's something in the video that's staying stable, and that's the irises of the eye. So I did all that. It's terrible. If you go back to the video and you watch it, it's jumping around because I didn't do a good job with the stabilization. The colors, everything is terrible. It's a very authentic video because it's just me. It's just me being 26, 27, walking around, being happy, being goofy, being angry, being sad, being confused. And that's the story of The Longest Way, the first weird beard progression video that the Hungarian hooligan likes so much. And after that, I took all the 1,400 self-portraits that I'd made. I hadn't made many more, maybe 50 or something more, but I excluded those, and I took basically all of the self-portraits that I had, and I put them in the video. And then I decided, okay, I'm gonna need an intro, which I just made like a black screen with some text and then some short video sequences. And I needed an outro where I just used a video that I took somewhere in the desert and I put it in black and white and added some text. And I needed some music. The music, honestly, I didn't have a clue. I just took two songs that I really liked, that I played a lot while I was walking, that spoke to me, and they do. There's a Chinese song that is about the feeling of having to be somewhere different from your home, having to be in a faraway place, and then being asked about it and not really knowing what to say, why you were there. So that's a sad kind of longing Chinese song that I put in there in a version that I guess righteously many Chinese people hate, because there's a very, I guess, artsy Taiwanese original version of that song, but I chose a very tacky, cheesy Chinese mainland China version. I still like it. I chose that song, and then I took a ska song by the Kingpins that is a cover from Indochine, a French band that I really like. And the song is about an adventurer. It's called L'Aventurier. And it spoke to me too, this weirdo, this comic hero who like has adventures, you know? So I put that in there. I didn't even negotiate the rights, you know, because at that point I was like, I'm not using them commercially. This is like a nice video that I'm just making for myself, you know, for fun. 1,400 self-portraits with some, I don't know, intro, outro. So I'm just going to use these songs, put it up there. I didn't think about monetization or making money or anything. Uploaded it, and then it exploded, the video, The Longest Way. And when it exploded, I understood the whole significance of like, oh, you've made something that people watch and they like a lot, like the Hungarian Hooligan, like, likes it. They see not so much me, but they see themselves in it. Like I get emails by people, I get messages by people, and I understand that from the stuff that they're telling me, I understand that actually they're not talking about me here. They're talking about their own imagination of themselves being in the same situation. You know, there is my face, sure, but it's not really me. It's them when they watch it, which when I understood this, it was powerful. It was awesome. Like I had made something that spoke to people. You know, if you're going to talk about this fucking inspirational shit on Instagram or whatever, I'd actually made something that inspired people. So that was cool. But also, I was stealing somebody else's music. So then I contacted Kingpins, contacted Indochine, contacted the label of the Chinese singer and everyone, and I negotiated the rights. I was like, I'm gonna pay you guys, please don't be angry. And they were all cool, especially the Kingpins, like awesome. Lorraine of the Kingpins, huge shout out. And then I had the rights and everything, and the video got some awards, went to some festivals. I licensed it to, I don't know, the BBC and some banks and stuff, and that kind of became a thing that was me. I'm gonna have another shot. Let's do this one to the old video. And no, to Lorraine of the Kingpins. Thanks. So I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna edit this video a little bit. I'm not gonna shorten it, I'm not gonna do that, but I'm gonna put some pictures in it. There is one picture in that old The Longest Way video where the light is just perfect. And I hadn't planned it because, as you can see, there is a bus that drives past me. The bus passes me while I'm taking the picture. I'm standing on the side of the road. I'm holding the camera. There's like green trees in the background. And this bus passes me, and I don't know, through the reflection of the sunlight on the bus, I guess it must have been white or at least light, my face is perfectly lit. In that one picture in the video, all of the other ones are kind of shitty. But that one sequence is awesome because the light is just perfect. And I remember back then editing that picture and thinking, like, how the hell did that happen? Why do I have one sequence of pictures that is just perfect? Well, because through this accident with the bus, the pictures turned out to have this perfect light. So when I started walking again in 2016, and I again had this thought that I could make another The Longest Way, or whatever you want to call it, time-lapse of my hair and my beard, I could try to make it better than the first one. Because, you know, there's no use of just making something new if it's not going to be better, or just make it longer if it's not going to be better. It has to be better. And so before I even went to China, I'm going to have another pickle. I forget the pickles. So good. before I even went to China to continue the walk, I had this idea that I was going to make a new The Longest Way, Weird Beard time lapse, but it was going to be bigger because longer from China, hopefully all the way to Germany. And also it was going to be better, not just in terms of resolution. The old video has a weird resolution. It's 720p. It's like, it has a frame rate of 60, which it doesn't use because the frame rate is actually 15. Like there's a new picture 15 times every second. But the new one was going to be actually 25 pictures every second. It was going to be all sequences from the beginning to the end. It was going to be completely 4K, like large pictures. I was going to pay attention to the light. I was going to pay attention to the story I was going to tell. I was going to negotiate music rights. I was going to not have an intro that is just white text on a black screen. And I was going to make a better video. So I started walking on, when was that? July 30th, 2016. I started walking in Jorgos, in the northwest of China, on the border of China and Kazakhstan. Took my first series of pictures on the Chinese part of the border. So the video was still start in China. And then I was off. And I kept taking these selfies. Now, after about 1 month, I arrived in Almaty in Kazakhstan, a big city, former capital of Kazakhstan, and I stayed in a hostel. The hostel had pink walls, and I remember a Lenin portrait somewhere. I found that hilarious. So I wanted to take a selfie with the Lenin portrait and with the pink walls. I ended up just taking it with the pink walls because fuck Lenin. But I remember wanting to take the self-portrait in the room. And then I looked at my equipment and I thought, I have a camera flash. Back in 2007 and 8, I didn't. It's not like the thing didn't exist. Of course it existed, but I never bothered to buy one or carry around one. But in 2016, I had one because I'd understood how useful it is. And at that point, I remember being in that pink room, finding a white surface to bounce the flash, because that's what you need with a flash to make it look good. And taking a self-portrait and being like, wow, this is that bus shot from the first video that looked perfect from The Longest Way 1. When the bus passes me and the light, by accident, gets reflected on the surface of the bus and it lights up my face perfectly, this is exactly it. I'm bouncing a flash from a white wall. There's a pink wall behind me. Doesn't matter, because I got that white wall and the flash to completely control the whole light on my face, and it just looked so good. So from that point on, I don't even remember if I pondered it at all. I took every single sequence of portraits with a flash, bouncing the flash or flashing through a hotbox. You can see or you will be able to see in the new video, some of the pictures don't look as good as the others. There's 3. First reason, in the beginning of the video, until Almaty, until that pink room, I didn't use the flash. Second reason, if I didn't have a white surface, I just use a softbox. I put a reflector thingy, a little box onto the flash, and I did a direct flashing on my face, which looks hideous, but it's still better than relying on sunlight or whatever we're relying on now. You see how this video looks bad? It's because I'm using regular lights. It's bad. Third reason, sometimes when I bounced the flash, the surface that I would use to bounce the flash looked bad. Like it was a gray wall, a kind of yellowish wall. Kind of looked white to me, to the naked eye, but to the flash, to the camera, it doesn't. It looks kind of yellowish. So some of the shots that you see, they look kind of like maybe I'm sick, maybe I'm, I don't know, unhappy, something like that. It's because I didn't do a good job either taking the pictures without a flash or bouncing them wrongly or using the softbox. That's the 3 scenarios. Later, I understood that you can only bounce it on white surfaces, and very much later in Budapest, where I started doing the vodka videos. Actually, let's have another shot. Oh, this video is gonna be terrible. I'm telling you, 25 minutes. What were we toasting to? I don't know. To the inventor of the flash, which is probably the Flash. So in Budapest, I don't know why, I'm really stupid. In Budapest, I finally understood the value of bringing your own reflecting surface. Can you imagine? I walked around for 6 years, 6 years, and I bounced my flash off of building walls, mosque walls, supermarket walls, I don't know, advertisement posters. I put up blankets in trees. You can see those shots too. I never got the idea to just get a reflecting umbrella. There's these things that mostly wedding photographers use apparently. It's an umbrella that has, like, on the outside it looks like an umbrella. Like, it might even be black on the outside, but the inside is white. Why? Because you can hold it and you can bounce a flash from the inside. I got one of those babies in Budapest. Awesome. Like, after Budapest, all of the pictures perfectly lit, perfectly controlled light. I can stand wherever I want. I don't have to stand next to a building in order to take my picture because I got to bounce the flash. No, I got my own bounce flash surface. My umbrella. Yeah, I guess it's learning by doing. Anyway. These are so good. Pickles are underrated. Generally, just have a pickle. If life is bad, they talk about lemons all the time. Why not talk about pickles? Can you imagine, like, how loud this is in my mouth? It's awesome. Okay, where were we? The video, right? The Hungarian hooligans question, right? So what I did was I would bounce the flash of some surface. I would take sequences, and I would take each sequence, if possible, multiple times. Also, I was talking about the focal point previously. I didn't rely on autofocus anymore. That's a huge mistake. If you're gonna take an auto portrait, like a self-portrait with your camera, and it has like a focal range, what you need to do is you need to find out how long are your arms, because they don't change. Mine are 60 centimeters, something like that, I think. Either way, on the lens, I would set it to 60, and I would just hold it like that. It would be manual focus, and it would always be focused on my eyes, because that's what you need. You need your eyes to be in the same place in a video, and you need your eyes to be in focus. Everything else doesn't matter. The background, it can be super blurry. The tip of your nose can be blurry, but your eyes need to be in focus. I tried. You're gonna find some shots in the video. I took some shots that went underwater with a GoPro. They're not focused at all. They're grainy as hell. But most shots, surprisingly clear, surprisingly good focus. And all of the shots are sequences from China to Germany. I think the video is gonna be about 6 or 7 minutes. Maybe if I add an intro or something, it's gonna be 7, 8 minutes, I don't know. I'm gonna negotiate the video music, the background music, with a musician, because it's very difficult to edit a video to music if you cannot switch around the content of the video. If you can switch around, it doesn't matter. Like, it's very easy. You just take some song that you like, get the rights for it, and then you edit the video according to the music. Like, when the music gets sad, you put some sad images. When it kind of builds up, you build up your video. But I can't do that, because my video is going to be just according to time, right? Like it starts with no hair, no beard, and it ends with me looking like, I don't know, Simba the lion or a caveman. And in between that, there's a temporary progression. So when the music is sad, no, I'm sorry, it's the vodka. When the video is sad, like for example, there are a bunch of sequences where I'm in a hospital in Budapest. I'm wearing the hospital gown, with the butt out and everything. When that happens, I would like the background music to be kind of, if possible, reflecting the fact that it's difficult. At that point, I'd already gotten my MS diagnosis. I'd already fucking stayed 18 months in Georgia because of COVID. And I was in Budapest in a hospital in a neurological ward, which is right next to the psychiatric ward, with a disc hernia that was so bad I could hardly make it to the bathroom. And I was still planning to walk back home. So it's supposed to be kind of sad at that point. I'm going to try to find a musician to compose music and play music that is kind of on top of the visual video that I'm making. I don't know if that makes any sense. You can kind of tell that, I'm going to kind of slow it down a little bit with the vodka here. I'm sorry, Hungarian Hooligan. You're getting a 30-minute video out of this. Anyway, what I want is, I want the video, the new one, to look so good that people will engage in conspiracy theories, because let's say, people that are not into photography, they will not understand that with help of a bounce flash, it's actually possible to perfectly light your face while also having an interesting background. Like for example, the sun is behind me, but because I'm bouncing a flash off a wall, my face is still perfectly lit, which would be impossible if you just, I don't know, take your phone and take some camera and hold it up. Because if the sun is behind you, your face is going to be dark. So I want people to watch the video and be like, okay, the pictures look too good. He didn't really take them. The feet is too much. He didn't really walk that distance. I did. And I want them to engage in conspiracy theories about, I don't know, green screens, something like that. That would be fun. And then maybe you can direct them to this video where the creator is getting drunk. Cheers. What are we toasting to? To the umbrella that I bought in Budapest. That was a good investment. It cost 18 euros. Oh, wait, let's check the aftertaste. Nope, not better. It's boring. I'm sorry, vodka sound. It's boring. I totally lost my train of thought at this point. There was something oh yeah. How come I haven't told you about this? So, you're gonna laugh at me. It's so dumb. Like honestly, it's so stupid. Remember I told you about the sequences. I take maybe 10 pictures in each given place. Like, let's say today I'm walking through Vienna in Austria. So I go to, I don't know, some place and I take 10 pictures because there needs to be a sequence. And then I think, okay, well, one sequence is not enough, because what if the focal point was off? What if I didn't really hit my eyes? Or what if in the background something happened? What if the flash failed? So I take the same sequence just to be safe, just to have more to choose from. I take it maybe 5 times. I don't know, something. I have a total of 130,000 self-portraits from the longest way. From 2016, July 30th, on the border of China and Kazakhstan in Khorgas, Horgosen, to my home here in Bad Nindorf. This place here. 130,000 times I have taken my camera, big, heavy DSLR, or sometimes if I wanted to go underwater, a GoPro, whatever, an action cam, let's call it that. Let's not advertise. And I've held it like this, sometimes even the phone. I've held it like this, and I've taken my self-portrait 130,000 times. I'm a fucking idiot. All of that is on I'm looking at it right now, on a NAS server. There's these hard drives that, okay, I'm gonna ramble more. The way that I kept my photos safe, because that was an issue that I had from the beginning, is how do you take photos and you don't lose photos? There's one day on The Longest Way in China that I lost. I have like 10 photos of sheep, and that's it. Like from 2007 in the winter, somewhere in northern China. There's a day where I just lost all of the photos except for some sheep. And I don't know how that happened. So when I went back in 2016 and I decided to do the rest of the walk from China to Germany, I decided I needed a foolproof system to not lose my photos and my videos that I took on the way and my diaries. So what I did was I got a hat, because you need a hat to stay safe from the sun. And the hat had a little compartment in the top of the hat. And I got a bunch of SIM cards to put in the cameras, but I also got some extra SIM cards that were huge, like 256 gigabytes or some shit like that, 512 gigabytes, like huge. And I would take my pictures, and each night I would copy the pictures from the SD card that was in the camera and copy them onto the SD card that would go in my hat, in the compartment of my hat, because I figured they can take my cart, the caboose, the trailer that I was pulling, they can take my wallet, they can take my cameras, they can take anything, they can take my watch. They tried. I'm going to tell you about that another time. But nobody's going to take this hat. Like, because it's a shitty, kind of sweaty hat that I have on my head. And even at the border, nobody's going to look at my hat. My pictures are going to be in my hat. And so that's what I did. And I never lost a series of pictures. One time in Uzbekistan, I was walking around in a back road, whatever, and I was taking pictures of some pipes. But what I didn't know was that there was a prison right behind the pipes. So one police car stops, two police cars, like 7 police cars, bunch of cops come out of the police cars, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm a tourist. I'm just walking around taking pictures of the pipes. They're like, "You don't know what that is, do you?" I'm like, "Nope." Then I knew after they took me to the police station. Some officer from the police is like, "Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you at the thing that we can't talk about?" They never told me it was a prison. I figured that out myself. And then at some point he's like, "Do you know who won World War II?" And I'm like, yeah. He wanted to hear the Soviet Union. Anyway, at some point he told me to delete all of the photos from my DSLR, which I made a huge scene that I didn't want to delete the pictures from the DSLR, but they were just pictures from that morning until the prison, until the pipes that I was photographing. But the real pictures were in my hat. Yeah, I didn't lose the pictures in my hat. So anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, another shot. Man, this video is going to be terrible. It's 40 minutes already. You can bake a cake watching this video. Yeah, so anyway, I never lost any pictures. Like, a few from the police in Uzbekistan, a few in Iran, a few. But most of the pictures, I kept them in SD cards in my hat. I would send them home. My brother would copy them onto huge hard drive. I don't know, huge, like 4 terabytes, 5 terabytes. And then now I have a NAS server. That's actually what I was talking about. I have a NAS server of like 40 something terabyte, and all of the pictures, all of the videos, all of the files are on the NAS server, on this box, this black, I'm going to show you a picture, this black box that contains a bunch of hard drives that have all my pictures. And I go through them, 130,000 self-portraits. Just me being more obsessed with my face than the Kardashians. Yes. And from those 130,000 self-portraits, I picked out about 10,000, I think 9,500, something like that. And I put them in order. I chose them by lighting conditions, by background, by focal, I don't know how good the focus was, by many factors. 9,500 pictures, that's going to be about 6 or 7 minutes at a rate of about 25 pictures a second. And all of the pictures, I have to edit them. I'm going to take a shot to how stupid I am. Cheers. Nope, not getting better. Gonna have another pickle. 9,500 pictures. The first few hundred pictures taken without flash. The next several hundred pictures taken by me kind of learning how to use the flash outside, outdoors. And then the last few thousand pictures, I don't know, from Budapest on, being me, being used to taking self-portraits in front of all kinds of backgrounds, sometimes even night portraits, using the reflective umbrella and bouncing the flash and kind of controlling the whole thing. So the end of the video is going to look much better than the beginning. Still, if you have any experience editing pictures, DSLR pictures, they come out raw. So it's a whatever raw file, whatever you use, Nikon, Sony, Canon, it doesn't matter. They're all good. Like photo nerds are going to be like, no, you can only use Canon. No, like bullshit. These awesome photographers use all kinds of cameras. You can too. Either way, I use this raw format. You have to run them through a photo editing software. You have to set the white balance in the computer. You have to set the contrast, the colors. You have to kind of make little masks of whatever you want to have pop more in the picture. So that means that 9,500 photos, I'm editing them basically one by one. And if you're thinking, okay, so there are sequences. So basically, it would be enough to just edit the first shot in a sequence and then copy the edits and copy them for the next 10 shots in a sequence. Yes and no. Sometimes that works. Most of the times it doesn't, because your exposure is going to change just a little bit. Your flash is going to change just a little bit. Something is going to change in the picture just a little bit. So you're stuck at editing every picture individually. And also, not just one time. Because if you're like me and you're kind of, what did my therapist say? Not a professional. If you're like me and you're not a professional and you're editing pictures, you don't understand how to control the white balance throughout the video. The version that I'm looking at right now, and hopefully you're not going to be looking at, has moods. There's a yellow mood, there's a kind of pinkish mood, there's a blue mood. That's not because I was moody during the taking of the pictures, like Picasso. No, that's because I was distracted or working under different lighting conditions while editing the pictures. Because your eye gets used to your computer screen. If you edit one continuous video and you set a white balance for the whole thing, fine. But if you have 10,000 individual shots and you edit it over months, sometimes you edit under natural light outside. Sometimes you edit under artificial light, like I'm now. Your editing is going to change. Your pictures are going to look different. I learned very late in the game that you need to set one reference picture that you have made sure its white balance is kind of okay. and then you edit all the other pictures according to that picture. Like you always go back to the reference picture and you say, okay, that's what I want. That's where I will go back to. It's terrible. I know. I'm still living it. I'm editing Iran right now. It's September the 12th, 2024, and I'm editing Iran. There's still a lot of countries ahead that I've edited them 3 times, but I still need to go over them one more time because I need to make sure that the white balance doesn't have these moods. The stabilization, I found a guy, Michael. Hey, Michael. In Switzerland. Like he does neuro something programming. Super gifted guy, super professional guy. I sent him an email and I was like, can you help me? Can you program a code that uses AI to stabilize the eyes in the pictures? He was like, sure. I mean, we can try. So he tried, but sadly, the code isn't enough because the code with the deep learning, large database AI that they have is trained on full faces. But what you need a code that is only using the 2 eyes, and that doesn't exist. So it's going to be manual. Oh man, I got to pee. I'll be right back. You guys still there? Cool. Me too. So anyway, it's important to wash your hands after you go to the restroom. It happens all the time. You go to like this kind of posh bar, and there's all these dudes in suits, kind of like charming the ladies. And then you see them in the restroom and they go to the urinal just like you. And then after going to the urinal, they kind of do their hair in front of the mirror, yet they never wash their hands. And then they just go out, back into the bar, back to charming the ladies. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you're just, man. Here's to washing your hands. Where was I? Oh yeah, the stabilization. Still, the only way, as of now, to do this is to make a raw cut using an AI. But the raw cut is not going to look like what you actually want or what I want. Because I want this video to look, I can say it, after a bunch of vodka, to look so amazing that the AI just doesn't cut it. It creates a video that kind of wobbles, it kind of bounces around, like the head gets a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, it kind of moves around. It's not perfect. I want it to be perfect. I want to edit the videos in a photo processor so they look as good as they can, and then I want to stabilize them so they look as good as they can. So the whole video looks like something that our friend, the Hungarian hooligan, would click on in YouTube and be like, okay, so this is the best thing that I've ever seen on YouTube. That's what I want. So that means around about 10,000 pictures on of my face. Each and every one of them needs to be stabilized by hand. And I'm not planning to do that all on my own. I'm getting some help, but still, it's a lot of work. I started this whole process of like editing the pictures while I was still on the way. I had a lot of time in Georgia while I was stuck there during Corona. So I already started picking out photos from like the tens of thousands of shots that I had already, and putting them in order, deleting whatever, and then starting editing. But it's only been since December the 12th of last year since I really arrived, and then on December 14th I cut the beard. It's only been since then that I've really started to sit down and look at all of the stuff that I have on the NAS server, on these hard drives, and kind of come up with a real plan of what I want to do. How long should the video be? What's the story that I want to tell? There's going to be a lot of different emotions. I don't know if everybody's going to pick up on all of the emotions because, again, everyone sees themselves. You know, like they watch a video of some weird German dude going from bald to looking like Simba the Lion King, but actually they see themselves. It doesn't matter who they are. I don't know if they're going to pick up on all the emotions, on all the weird shit in the background. Like one time I actually managed to get a rainbow in the background. I've been trying for a long time. Cheers to the rainbow. But we'll see. And then, okay, so I've edited colors, contrast, everything, white balance of a bunch of pictures up until Iran. There's still a lot of pictures to go. I think I'm like 1/5 through the whole video. The stabilization about the same, also kind of stuck in Iran. I think by summer of next year, 2025, it'll be done. I hope so. I also need to find composers, musicians that are gonna make music. I'm kind of leaning towards something classical. I don't want the music to be as happy, as cheesy also as the last one. I want it to be one classical kind of music theme, maybe piano plus violin, something like that. I want it to reflect, if possible, I don't know if that's possible, but I would like it to reflect a little bit the different cultures that I walk through. Like not every single country, but if you could do, or if the composer could do like a little bit a Central Asian vibe, an Iranian vibe, Persian vibe, maybe maybe a Turkish vibe, Bize her yer Trabzon, maybe something, I don't know, Balkan, could be interesting. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know what will come up. I gotta negotiate rights and shit. And then I'm gonna make subtitles for the whole video, like have a kilometer counter, have a geographical subtitle section where I tell you where I am, like which city, like for example, Samarkand, Mashhad, Istanbul, these places, Vienna. And then another subtitle place where I tell you something about what's going on, because I think what I hope is that people are going to watch the video and then they're going to rewind, maybe the Hungarian hooligan, go back and watch it again. And maybe this time pay attention to some of the subtitles, because the last subtitles, when I did them in 2009 to the original The Longest Way video, I just kind of went very descriptive. There's a section that is actually, I think, very interesting. Like from the stuff that was happening, I was walking through the Gobi Desert, like 150 kilometers of no people living anywhere. And what did I come up with for the subtitles? It was like a thing of 10 minutes. I wrote down hardcore nothingness, and then the next sequence, nothingness hardcore. I mean, sure. Sure. I don't want these subtitles of the new video to be as, I don't know, bland, I guess. I want them to be more interesting, to have more Easter eggs in them, like stuff that you can find where you're like, oh, maybe he was talking about this. Maybe this is interesting. And I want the whole video. All right, I'm gonna need another shot for that. we're getting to the stupid part. So from 2016 until 2023, I've taken 130,000 self-portraits. Not because I like my face so much, but because I wanted to make this video. And then during COVID in 2020 and 21, I edited so many of these pictures. I picked out some pictures, put them in order, thought about what story I wanted to tell. And then I walked again and again and again. And again, I picked up on the way and I continued walking. And then now, ever since arriving at my home here in Germany, in Bad Nindorf, on December 12th, 2023, ever since then, I have tormented my family, my friends, my surroundings with this one topic that has been on my mind, the video. Ooh, the video. I need to talk about the video. Like, ooh, you need to hear about the music, the subtitles, the contrast, the white balance, the shit that I'm editing. I don't have much else to talk about than this. I don't do much else. I get up in the morning, I do my back exercises, then I sit here and I work on my video. I have some bread for lunch. I go outside, take a walk. I come back, I sit here and I work on my video. I'm a boring person doing the same shit every day, slowly going through round after round of editing all those pictures in order to get out the different phases. I don't want to have a yellow phase, a blue phase, a pink phase, whatever, a gray phase of the video, a dark phase, a light phase. I want the whole video to look kind of smooth. And I'm just editing the video. And I feel stupid about it. I feel like how important is video like that? I should be writing books. I should be negotiating at least with publishers to say like, okay, so who wants to make new books? How many books? What kind of photos do you want to include in the books? What kind of stories do you want to include in the books? Did I say photos? Man, I'm drunk already. Here's to the publishers. But no, I'm just sitting here, just editing that video. And you know what I hope? I hope that this new video is going to be the best thing that not only the Hungarian hooligan, but that most people can see on YouTube for a long time. I hope people are going to watch it and be like, that can't be real. And that looks too good. Nobody can do that and still take this kind of footage and still edit it in this way. That's what I hope. And I hope it's going to do good. I hope it's going to be worth it. I hope all of these hours and hours, just fucking hours of just sitting here and editing and editing and editing and not drinking, I'm just drinking for the video, are going to be worth it. And everyone tells me like, okay, so if it's not worth it, you know, in a way that not many people are going to watch it because maybe just, I don't know, 1 million people are going to watch it and that's it. But you should still be happy because you did what you wanted to do. You made you reached your own goal. You made it as good as you wanted, like me. Fine. But I still hope that's not just going to be just me. I hope it's going to be a lot of people. So, here's to you. I don't think, but I hope that you came from the future. You came from 2030. and you clicked on that viral video that destroyed the internet, that was awesome, that you looked at and you were like, that can't be real, it looks too good. And then you were like, let's check out the dude. And you clicked on the channel and you were like, man, that channel looks like shit. Like, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. Like, the whole editing, the whole titles. I got an email just yesterday by some Indian dude who was like, man, your channel doesn't make any views because people don't care about your titles, your thumbnail pictures, your anything in your videos. Do you want to pay me money so I make it better? I'm like, nah, dude. I don't care. My channel is just gonna be that shitty. But the one video that I'm gonna make that I've been working on for months, this one is gonna be awesome. So here's to that awesome video, and here's to you, the person who was watching this awesome video. Cheers. To the year 2030, let's hope we're still around. One hour. What's left to say? Fuck Putin. Like, honestly, just waiting for him to die. Marbarkolenism, also very important. Is there a third thing? I don't know. Let's have another. Ooh, there's two more. Let's have one more shot. So good. You know, many people have vodka in a totally wrong way. Like, they just have it with what? Coke, Sprite, Red Bull, some cocktail, whatever. No. You're supposed to have it at room temperature and in little shots. I mean, you could do big shots if you're like a drinker, but I'm not. And you're supposed to have little zakuski, like little sweet things or like salty things or like sour things. You can even do bread, cheese, whatever. You're supposed to have those with your vodka because you're supposed to drink. Let's see. This one is to, you know what? Slava Ukraini. This one is to Ukraine. Then you have it. Then your taste buds, they're kind of irritated. Your whole nerves, they're kind of irritated. And then you take the pickle or whatever else, you know, something tasty. That's good. That's how you're supposed to do it. Right. That's it. I'm not going to tell you my title. I didn't, right? Did I? Peace. See you in 2030. Hi. It's me, the editor. So I just got done editing that little video you just watched, or I don't know, maybe you didn't watch it. Maybe nobody watched until the end. Except for me, I did. I watched until the end 2 times. And I don't know about you. Did you cringe? I did. I cringed. I cringed at myself sitting there, getting drunk, being like, I want to make the best video on YouTube ever. It's good to have dreams, I guess. You know why I made that video? There's like a group of a few hundred, maybe 1,000, 2,000 people that still follows me on YouTube actively enough to actually watch my videos. I got like 200,000 subscribers, but nobody cares because they know my content is going to be this kind of stuff. Anyway, that was 100, 200, 1,000, 2,000 of people that bothered to click on my YouTube videos and watch the stuff. Thanks, guys. I do hope that the new video, of which I'm not going to tell you the title, once it comes out, I do hope that it's going to be successful. And if it is, you were here when it happened. And when you saw me slowly losing my mind and being like, it's gonna be so awesome. Oh God. Yeah, and if it doesn't do good, if it's not successful, then I never cared anyway. Peace. Wish me luck.